Welcome back to the Edit by Engage Creative. I am Sophie. I am one of the co-owners of Engage Creative, which is a boutique marketing studio based here in Sydney, but we obviously service clients all around the world. And I am speaking to Carla from Made with Love, who is a lovely, beautiful woman that I have followed personally and professionally for a number of years. I've obviously admired exactly what you've done building the business. I think we started, I kind of got in touch with you, it was probably like 10 years ago when you were starting, and now you have grown to over 200 retailers worldwide. It's probably more, but you have, flagships in Sydney, Brisbane, London, like everywhere, which is insane. Whilst also balancing motherhood, which is kind of the topic that I wanted to discuss with you today. You obviously have two children, Jackson, who is 6, and Bella, who's 4. So welcome. I wanted to kind of,
Thank you.
talk talk to you about it. So I guess going back to the start before we kind of jump into motherhood, what kind of inspired you to start Made with Love?
So 13 years ago, Josh proposed, and back then there wasn't what there is now. And I went bridal shopping with my mum, and it was either the very, very princessy vibe with like your tiara, or it was very, very boho, with flowers in your hair and no shoes. And I wanted something in the middle, and they just wasn't anything out there back then. I ended up buying a dress, but I never loved it. And my mum has been a seamstress her whole life. And I just said to mum, I want something that feels like me. Like I want it to be elegant, comfortable, but just beautiful. I don't know. It was just something different to what was out there. And mum said, well, I can make it for you. Let's do it. So we did that whole thing together, and I just loved the whole process of it all. I loved choosing the fabrics. I loved sort of designing of what I wanted, and then mum made it, for me. And I just loved the whole process. And please note, I have no experience in designing. But I've always been obsessed with fashion. I've always, I have a twin, and I used to dress us every morning. So I've always loved, the fashion side of things. I always used to buy magazines to see what, the famous girls were wearing and things like that. So it just started off like that. And I said to my mum, I'm sure there's other girls like me, who are looking for something like what I'm looking for. So long story short, I actually launched 8 dresses. I was doing marketing at the time. I had a friend who was a photographer. I had a friend who was a website developer. And I was just super lucky, and everyone helped me, basically. I made a very basic website.
Your family is so involved, which is just like so lovely. It's such a great family-run business. I think I've met your sister. I've met your brother.
The whole fam. There's quite a few of us. Yes, I mean, that's how it all started. And I said to Josh, so I was seeing brides in my mom and dad's bedroom before work.
Wow.
Between 6 and 7 a.m. Yeah, and actually my first bride who ever bought for me, she's actually a good friend now, and she sung at our opening at our new HQ last year, which was super special. Yeah.
It is. That is really, really special. I mean, what did you find was the biggest challenge when you were setting up in the early days?
Look, back then, no young girls owned a business. So when people would say to me, oh, what do you do? I'd say, oh, I have my own business, and was very like shock factor. What? You're 25 years old. How do you have a business? So I was very, very lucky. I had mum and dad. Dad has always owned businesses, and mum was sort of the seamstress side of things. She was very, very particular. Made with Love wouldn't be here if it wasn't for mum and dad. Dad really helped me with the accounts and the business side of things. So look, just not knowing what I was doing was probably the biggest challenge.
I feel like that's why you kind of but at the same time, like if you were to know what's coming, you wouldn't start a business, otherwise.
I don't overthink things. I just do it. So all my friends have said this to me and my family, like I don't do full business plans, and, because it's too scary if you do that. I just do it. And I'm not stupid about it. Like, I'm very conservative. I remember at the time, Josh and I had $20,000 saved. We were newly engaged. And I was working in marketing and I just launched MWL. And I said to Josh, I really want to do this full time. And I was completely obsessed with it. And Josh said, do it. And I'm like, but babe, how are we going to pay rent and, all that kind of thing? And the deal was if I got down to 10 grand, I'd get a job.
Yeah.
And it
never happened.
No, it didn't happen.
What would you say is your proudest moment over the years?
I've got quite a few. I mean, first proud moment, I remember selling my first dress and I drove to mom and dad's house and I was just screaming because my thought process with that was if I can sell one, I can sell millions. And so that would be probably one of the biggest moments. Second, going to New York Fashion Week.
Yeah. I remember.
Yes, you were there.
You
were there. I remember you. And we were definitely the underdog. No one had heard of us. No one knew us. We were kind of irrelevant. But after the show, I just remember this long, long line waiting to talk to Josh and I. And we picked up 56 stockists that night.
Oh my God. That definitely would be a proud moment. Like, how could you even sleep that night? You would just be buzzing.
I didn't. And I didn't even know if we could handle the orders. I just said yes. And I said, I'll figure it out. I was going to say, your
stress would have been like, am I going to launch? Is this going to be okay? This is a big investment, to like overnight a complete flip of like, are we going to fulfill this?
Yes, definitely. But with my personality trait, I'll just figure it out. I'm just going to do it. Like, it wasn't an option for me not to do it.
Yeah, of course. Well, I guess moving into kind of like motherhood and how do you make it work? I mean, obviously you have 2 children. Like, how did you feel like stepping into motherhood impacted you as a business owner and kind of your role as mother, but then also business owner?
So it is hard. It is a juggle. I had hyperemesis with both pregnancies, which means you vomit 24/7 for 9 months straight.
I was in and out of hospital. The Kate Middleton.
Yes. Yes. It is so horrific. I can't even explain it. And I was in and out of hospital with drips and the whole 9 yards. So to me, pregnancy was way, way worse than newborn and life. So I actually found the newborn life and being a mum easy compared to what I was experiencing. But to answer your question, I mean, it's just a constant juggle. I'm very, very lucky. I have a wonderful husband who's super, super supportive, and he works with me in the business, but has taken a bit of a step back. So especially when we had our children. So he helped a lot, especially in the early days. I did breastfeed both kids for 12 months, sort of exclusively. So that was a juggle. Just, what it's like with pumping and all that. But I just made it work. I remember Jackson was born and on day 5, I was back at it, back working.
I feel like you can't not as a business owner. Like, I mean, this is like psycho, but when I was in labor with Harry, my most recent child, like I obviously had the epidural and everything was calming down, but like I really couldn't like switch off. And I was like, I felt like I couldn't focus on like, anything. And the girls actually said to me like 2 weeks later, were you on Slack? And I was like, I was on Slack reading stuff because I couldn't focus on anything else. I just needed to take my brain off it. And I'm like, what a psychopath I am that I was on Slack while I was in labor. But it was purely because I just couldn't switch off or anything. I was like, I need to focus.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible, especially, for me, it was impossible. I look at quite a few of my friends have had maternity leave for a year and just, solely focused on being a mum for a year. And I remember looking at it being a little bit jealous because I did not experience that. But in saying that, I love my job. I'm so lucky. I am completely obsessed with my job and I love juggling both like I do. Again, I was lucky. I found the most incredible nanny. She was Jackson's kindy teacher, and she resigned to work for us full time. And she was literally a part of our family. When Jackson would draw the family, she was in the picture. So she didn't live with us, but yeah, she was just part of our family, and I trusted her so much. But I had a balance. I'm not saying I was in the office from 7 to 7. It wasn't like that. Yeah, but again, I had the cot in my office.
Yeah, and you just need to like make it work. Like sometimes if I know like I have to feed the kids at 5 o'clock, so that means like finishing at
Yeah.
4. But then like once they're asleep, I can't not but help jump back on or approve things or like
Yeah.
it's just all
Yeah.
about kind of making it work. Well, kind of like what does a typical day look like for you in terms of like a juggle now that the kids are a little bit older?
So I wake up at the kids wake up at 6, and I wake up at 5, and I gym with Josh. So that's every morning. I'm not a morning person. I absolutely hate it when my alarm goes off. But I never regret a workout, and I feel so much better for it mentally and physically. So
Yeah.
when the kids come downstairs, I've gymmed, I've unloaded the dishwasher, I've done a load of washing, I've made their lunch boxes, and I've got their breakfast ready. And I'm just ready to start my day. Like I've lived a life before 7 a.m. I've always said that. Yeah. And then I just get them ready with their school bags, and, we've done homework the night before. We have a bit of family time in the morning, so we'll play Uno or dominoes or just something. So it's not always rush, rush, rush. And then Josh and I have our days of taking the kids to school. And then I get to work for 7:30 or 8, depending who's doing drop off. And then my days at work are different every single day, but mainly just meetings.
Yeah. I feel like you need to be like strong, like physically and mentally for yourself to be a better mum and then to show up as a bit better business owner. Like I feel like when I do have those like really early morning gym classes or like when I have that dedicated time, I'm actually like more focused and like stronger and like able to dedicate more time to my children or like the business because I've had that like strength building, within itself.
I couldn't actually recommend it more to female business owners, because when I don't gym, say for whatever reason I don't, and I get to work and I'm sluggish and I'm tired and I'm not on, but when I gym and I get to work, I am ready for my day, and you just feel so much better. But by no means am I a morning person, or do I spring out of bed. That is
Especially
not
in
the
winter.
case.
In winter, it's like so much worse. Like you're just
It's
like,
so hard.
it's so
It's so
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever struggled with mum guilt or like, I feel like it's like something that like you can never, like I asked my mum one day, I said, Mum, do you ever like, does mum guilt ever stop? And she was like, no. But how do you kind of feel like you balance it while being a business owner?
I struggle a lot, especially when they were little. That's what, now it's eased a little bit, but when they were little, I battled so much with mum guilt. And I don't think, well, Josh doesn't get dad guilt. And I remember Josh and I were reversing out of home to go to work. Sometimes we go to work together, and Acacia, who was the nanny, was holding Bella, and they were waving to us at the driveway. And Bella would have been really little. And I just felt sick to my stomach. And I looked over at Josh and I'm like, do you not feel mum guilt? Do you not feel what I'm feeling? And he said, no. Not that he doesn't love his daughter. He just doesn't have the guilt that we
like
have.
That.
And yeah. So
it's
I definitely, it's awful. But in saying that, like I've done lots and lots of trips without the kids, work trips, but I'm in and out. Like I went to London Fashion Week. I was there for 2 days. I went to New York Fashion Week. I was there for 3 days. I did quite a few work trips last year. But when I'm working, I don't think of the kids, thank goodness. Like I'm in work mode, but as soon as things stop, I like pine for the kids and I get super homesick. So I just work. I try, and that's why I cram everything in so I can just smash it out and then go home.
I'm literally planning my New York trip at the moment, obviously coming up for October, and I'm flying out on the Sunday, obviously arrive on Sunday, working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then fly home Thursday. And I know I'm going to be so busy that you don't think about it until I feel like you get to the airport and you're on your way home and there's nothing else to do except think about that.
Yeah.
And and that's when it like really from last time, and I know it'll probably be the same. That's when it hits you of like, oh, I just want to get home. And we live so far away from the rest of the world. It's like,
It's so awful. That
yeah.
flight, yeah.
Well, what strategies or like support networks? I mean, you obviously said you have an incredible nanny, but is there kind of anything that you kind of would recommend business owners, in terms of strategies?
I'm very lucky to have a very supportive husband, and mom and dad, and my in-laws are incredible. So, but I know so many people don't have in-laws or parents close to them. And I take my hat off to you. I don't know how you do it. So I'm very lucky in that sense. And second, I would say to have a reliable team who you can really, really trust. Setting boundaries, maybe. I remember not when Jackson was born, but when Bella was born, I was breastfeeding, so you're up every 3 hours, and I check emails all the time, reply to emails. And my dad said to me, you need to take your emails off your phone. And I was like, Dad, I could never do that. And he said, take it off your phone and bring up, when you want to work, you're in your office, you open your laptop and you are working. You're not doing both. And that was a game changer for me, because sometimes, it was a game changer, because sometimes I was a bit emotional, because obviously you sleep deprived and, all the things and all the emotions and all the hormones and everything. Yeah. So, and I would reply to an email and make a decision based on that. Instead, once I deleted the app, when I was ready to work and, I'd go to my office, I was in work mode and I could answer those emails with clarity. So I highly, especially in the newborn phase, I highly recommend taking off your emails from your phone.
That's really good advice and makes complete sense, because I feel like sometimes, like, if I was struggling to put Harry to bed and I know I've just seen an email, you kind of get frustrated because you're like, hurry up, go to sleep. I need to reply to this. But like,
yes, and your baby can
fault.
pick up on that.
Yeah, and then it just makes it 50 times worse, and it's not his fault. It's
exactly
you. Yeah.
And so my dad always said, receiving that email at 3 a.m. or reading it at 3 a.m. compared to reading it at 8 a.m., what's the difference?
So true. Makes complete sense. But like, your frame of mind completely, would shift. Well, I mean, would there be any advice of other mums that are starting a business or already have a business and kind of going into motherhood? Like, what would be your advice? I mean, that is obviously a golden nugget, but is there anything else?
One of my best friends actually just had a baby and she owns her business. And when she got pregnant, she was freaking out because she's like the one woman show, like she does everything. And I just said to her, she does have a few people working for her. And I just said to her, for the next 9 months, every time your staff member asks you a question, do not answer it. Say, what would you do? If I wasn't here, what would you do? Because it just becomes it's so much easier to say, oh, Carla, what do I do in this situation? Whereas if they have to think for themselves when you're not there, you're just kind of they're gaining confidence as well to make the call when you're not there. So yeah, I would definitely say that just keep putting it back on the staff member. And also to say to the staff or your team, look, you guys are going to make the wrong call when I'm not there, but as long as we can unpack it and so we don't do it again and discuss it, like, why did you make that call? As long as the team feel like you have their support and they're not going to be in trouble, I think that's the key.
I think kind of going from William was like a great learning curve for myself, balancing as a business owner and also motherhood, like that in itself. But going into motherhood for a second time with Harry, I was a lot more clearer on my boundaries, but also empowering the staff to make decisions. And I actually feel when I compare the two scenarios, allowing the girls to make decisions for themselves, having those client meetings themselves allowed them to flourish so much more because I wasn't kind of on their back.
Yes, 100%. And you're not micromanaging them. Staff really thrive when someone's not micromanaging them. So yeah, I would definitely be doing that. And also, don't wait for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. So just give it a go. Just do it.
It literally does not exist. Like there is never going to be a good time.
Never. I had zero experience when it came to designing wedding dresses. but I loved it.
Well, what's next for Made with Love? And then, yeah, like how do you kind of, what I guess going into motherhood as well, like what kind of, I guess, legacy do you want to have for your children with the business?
So I would say next for Made with Love, we have shifted our branding a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed. We were definitely the girl next door, and sort of we tapping into the cool, kind girl. And I would say the next step, we are continuing our global expansion, so more boutiques, which I love. I love owning our stores. I love, we just have so much more control in terms of how we
Deliver.
treat our brides, experience, all that. I really have a passion for that. So yeah, I would just say, more stockists, more boutiques around the world. We're going to sort of concentrate more online, like working with other brands, collaborating with other brands. Just keep going. Like I feel like we're only getting started. I know that sounds really silly, but yeah.
I would agree. I feel like your shift lately has been incredible to watch, and it's really exciting kind of seeing from the sidelines, and it's really, I guess, empowering. I've followed you like personally on your Instagram for a while, just like seeing your shift of motherhood, and it's amazing to see you kind of balance those two worlds. So thank you for
thank you. I don't feel like, I feel like I'm every mum, like sometimes I feel like I'm killing it in terms of having a
yeah.
good balance, and then sometimes I'm not. Like there'll be some weeks where I'm finishing so late that I miss dinner, and then there's some weeks where I'm home at 3 and I'm doing pickup, and I'm, it's a balance, and sometimes, yeah, it's with the kids, and sometimes it's with work. So you've just got to choose what's needing you more at the time.
I think as well, we're so lucky that we're in such an incredible industry as well, that we're able to work with other mums that just like at the end of the day get it. Like you get it, you understand where it is a female dominated industry, working with other business owners. So it's lovely to be able to kind of, have a Zoom call and a child pop in and, and it be like the normal. There has been a little blonde head pop up many of times when I've been on conversations that I'm like, but I
exactly.
think other people get it. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate
That's
it.
okay.
And obviously,
No
everyone can find Made with Love on Instagram and the websites, and your insane stockists all around the world. So I appreciate sharing some insights.